I am watching the Senate confirmation hearings, and I'm listening to Chuck Grassley, um, Republican senator. Always thought a lot of Grassley, and sort of reminds me of a bumbling Mr. Fix-It. But he's a smart son of a bitch. And what I'm impressed about with Barrett is she has an absolute command on every issue thus far. Absolute command. She has precedent as to why she is not answering certain questions, and oftentimes it's Ginsburg who and Sotomayor who were hesitant to give any uh, advice as to what they might say and how they might rule. Um, Barrett is an unbelievable pick, and now we've got to deal with the fact that John Roberts is compromised. You can guarantee it. He is compromised, and they, meaning the globalists, have something on him because he's turned from a very, very good moderate Republican to a flaming liberal. I've always thought that little geek that was just confirmed has such a big shit, that was Trojan horse, because he's also going to turn and he's going to be liberal. So they're going to still fight, and it's going to be tough. And that's where Barrett comes in and Gorsuch comes in, because Barrett and Gorsuch will champion the idea of originalism and not making up law just because it's convenient. I am so, so happy that I'm living in a time like this to see uh, Miss Barrett in such an eloquent position. 7 children, Seventh Circuit seat, and she is absolutely, absolutely on point. Everything she says. And Feinstein, she was just a puppet compared to how eloquent Barrett was. She's coming off just so beautifully, very humble, but very, very much in command. So this is Paladin giving you a couple minutes of what we believe is the finest Supreme Court justice nominee that Trump could have ever imagined. And she's making the point here. That's a C-SPAN following Grassley's comments, and she says she's going to follow judicial independence.
My last question, then, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to reserve the rest of my time. The Democrats claim that you're being put on the Supreme Court so you can vote to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Is that your agenda? If confirmed, is your goal repealing the Affordable Care Act? Have you committed to the president or anyone else that you will?
The question is she committed to the repeal of the Affordable Care Act? Now listen to Barrett's comments. Absolutely not.
If I had been, that would have been a short conversation.
So she points out that the White House was never mentioned, never discussed, and it was not brought up seriously. She will take the law as it's written, and if it's properly written, she will uphold it. If it's improperly written, she will vote against it. It's that simple.
I'll introduce the letters by...
This is Lindsey Graham now making comments, and he's the leading Senate Judiciary Chairman.
I think I am. Do you hear me there?
Yes, sir. See if we can get you up on the screen here. There you go. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much.
This is Pat, and let me assure you, he's such a little weasel. You just want to get sick with some of these senators. You know that they've had their hands in pockets for years, and they don't care about anything except lining their pockets. A lot of Republicans, a lot of Democrats on the senator level have that view. Mitch Romney comes to mind. Mitt the Tit is the way I call him. And so Patrick Lehey is a Democrat, Vermont, ultra-liberal, and he's just such a weasel, such a weasel. So let's listen.
And let me talk to you about some of the things I've been hearing from Vermonters. You have to understand in Vermont, Vermonters just walk up to you.
They're talking about the Vermonters.
Church or whatever. They're perfectly happy to express their views. And they're concerned about what the Republicans' Affordable Care Act lawsuit on November 10th.
So they're concerned, talking about the Republicans' concerned to repeal Obamacare. The Republicans have already, and Lindsey Graham has already explained that the Affordable Care Act is not the best way of health care. You don't want bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. making decisions for 22% of the population, California, I think California, New York, and one other, 22% of the population, and they want to be making decisions for almost 25% of the country. And that's not the way it is. That's why the Electoral College gives each senator 2 votes for each state.
A little more than 15 million. And I look at that because I look at the people calling me from Vermont. I think of Alex Johnson. She's a single mother.
Now they're going to give you some anecdotal bullshit. This is what they always do.
She works as a nanny in South Burlington, Vermont. She relies on Medicaid for her doctor's visits or blood drawings or other testing. All that done to make sure her leukemia stays in remission. She tells me she stays awake at night worrying about losing Medicaid. Now,
They're worried about pre-existing conditions, and Trump's already taken care of that with an executive order. There is no way that they're going to try to repeal pre-existing conditions. It's a bullshit thing, but Trump's committed to protecting it, and he's going to protect it. And Supreme Court, if they overrule it, it's going to be on a basis much broader than just pre-existing conditions. Obamacare is a farce. They want to make sure that it goes to single payer. That's the next step. Remember, Obama gave us this quote: "If you like your plan, you can keep your plan." That's not true, was it? The Total Affordable Care Act was nothing more than chaos, and they got 13 million people covered at exorbitant rates. Now, when I'm governor, we are going to have some very, very wonderful options for people, including lifetime health care through an alternative vehicle. Lifetime health care, it's going to be free. It's going to cover research on a condition, recommendations and protocols that we've used successfully, and specific recommendations for your particular issue. And you'll have access to 20-minute sessions with your wellness associate. It may differ from time to time, or if it is a serious case, we'll elevate it and give you an hour and a half with your healthcare professional. In addition, we're going to have another interesting program that allows an employer and employee group to make a decision in this way. The employer will take a look at his previous year's insurance bill from carrier, Blue Cross, whoever it is. And then they can voluntarily select the option that I'm going to promote and advocate in my run for governorship. And is this: let's make the example of a mid-sized company with a $2 million cost for healthcare. They have covered some of it with a shared cost. So employee buys some, employer buys some. And we're going to change that so the $2 million fee that the insurer was paid last year, would be eliminated. There would be no health care insurance coverage. The employer would self-insure, and taking $1 million, one half of this $2 million, and apportion it out to each employee, full-time employee,
And I think you're a sympathetic person.
on a 12-month basis, pro rata, 1 month each.
Because you wanted somebody.
So if for families that were healthy and taking good care of themselves and taking advantage of the free health care option that I've already discussed, they can choose to self-insure and go directly to a physician that they choose, and that if the doctor will accept it, it will be a doctor and a patient decision. So that money would be used or not used depending on how healthy the person is. Now, there's an additional $1 million, and that's the pool that will be used in the event that there is not enough money in the till to cover a family's individual needs. And that decision will be made in the following manner. 2 employees and one employer or representative will make these kinds of decisions together.
Friend the chairman.
And so we're having two employees to make the decision to overrule the employer. And so if the employees decide that they're going to cover this additional coverage,
I think
it's going to be covered
Chairman
up to
Grant
the full
also
$2 million that they'd spent the last year.
repeatedly promised
Now, here's the beauty.
the American people that
Let's say at the
justice
end
will
of 12
AZ.
months,
If we didn't win
at
it,
the end of 12 months, a family of four hasn't used but three monthly payments of the $1 million.
Judge Barrett would side with
They can have the choice, the family can have the choice of taking it on vacation, because it's their money, or they can roll it in so that their premium will be reduced further in the following year. It'll be their choice. Take the money and run that they didn't use, or put it up for the next year, save it for a rainy day, if you will. So
animated Republican in Congress.
the two novel pieces of health care that we're going to offer, totally voluntary, and then the third option is if the employer wants to continue with his traditional insurance carrier, that's their business.
You know, Judge Barrett, that
That's a pretty good plan, don't you think?
Congress has voted to repeal
If I were Roy Cooper, I'd be squeaking in my teeth knowing that Nos Biggs is coming for him.
7-0 times.
Because I'm coming asking for no money. I don't want any salary
They turned to the court.
for my 8 years in office.
Do you know how many Republicans
And
on this committee
any of my existing cabinet members or legislators that takes a salary will be targeted. Yes, targeted. And I got to be careful about that because I want to make sure it's legal to do this. But if you are a legislator in the state of North Carolina and you're still sucking the tits,
joined in the amicus brief
we're going to work with our PAC to work to disavow any reelection effort. And we're going to train up citizen legislators
Yes, ma'am.
to oppose them in the following election. We're also going to have a beautiful, beautiful portability option for our families with minor children. From kindergarten to 12, they will have access to a nationally accredited charter school that will also have portability. So if mom and dad are in Greensboro and he gets a great opportunity to live on the East Coast, that would be portable. So the same
My question is, do you know how many times Republicans on
work
the
that
committee are saying before
the kids are doing in Greenville, Greensboro, North Carolina, would be the same work that would be done on the East Coast. And it would be portable because it's virtual.
at least 9?
And here's an additional benefit. Through the group that we are going to nominate as the charter schools,
2 weeks ago,
they will have the option of allowing the public school principals to allow the homeschooled kids,
California,
the charter school kids,
11 of the
to be
12
eligible for after-school activities. So if your children are good and well-behaved and a credit to the public school, they can come in and play football, basketball, baseball,
now,
harp, flute, whatever they want to play.
you will not
Badminton, whatever's there. If the public school offers it, our plan will allow the children to come after school for extracurricular activities. So it's a 5-pronged plan, and I want you to understand that this is exactly
which way you go.
what my mentor
Is that correct?
has advocated for years at in the state Senate House. And I'll name him. Jim Black was my hero. He fought aggressively to protect people, not the politicians, to protect people. You know how I know? Because I live next door to the guy.
Is it
And my son had a desire to be in politics.
you weighed in? It hasn't even
And my son was allowed to participate in a PAGE program.
with Chief Justice
And he was also nominated to be a part of the NRCC as an unpaid intern. And Jim Black was instrumental in making that happen. So he did things for people, rich people, poor people, people of merit, people that came to him and said, "Can you help my son? Can you help my daughter? Can you help us do this?" If it was possible, Jim Black was the champion beyond all belief. So yes, I am proud to say I'm a big, big fan of Jim Black. Now I want you to know something.
28 U.S.C. 455.
He had a chance to turn on the previous governor. I know this to be a fact. Jim never talks about it. but I know this to be true.
Now, when the president declares,
Jim Black was going to be bled to death
secure his reelection,
because they couldn't prove that he did anything wrong, because he hadn't done anything wrong.
ran through the Senate and
But they were going to bleed him dry with
middle of the
legal
night
fees
election,
and going to leave him basically destitute. And Black said, "Screw it. I'll take whatever deal they come, and I'll serve my time." While his serving time, he was treated very, very poorly. They denied him eyeglasses, and they denied him access to his wife, even though she was in the final days of Lou Gehrig's disease. They would not allow him to be there by her side as she was dying, and did not allow him to go to the funeral. So Jim Black paid a terrible price. But Jim Black is a man, and he's a man that I'm proud to say is my friend. So I begged him to help me understand all of the things that he envisioned, and I'm going to try to make it happen as a reality. So I want you to understand that I'm seriously running for governor in 2024. As soon as they allow me to file, I'll file my 1% of an annual salary, and we have 100 digital newspapers by county, and they're ready to go. In fact, they're already being used right now. So if you want information about me and my governor's race or anything I talk about, all you have to do is send me an email at info@nosbigs.com. That's info at nosbigs.com, NOSBIGGS. Now, if you want to know how that came about, my mentor that taught me how to trade currency, that's where I make my money. My last name is Gibson. Say it backwards, spell it backwards, and that's Nosbig. My first initial is S. So Nosbigs is my name, and for 8 years as a currency trader in training, Ken Mann called me Nosbigs. So I added the last G because Biggs has a negative connotation. I'm a big boy, but Biggs is a legitimate last name. So that's where the Nosbigs come from. So if you have any questions, email us at info@nosbigs.com, and I'll respond to you. I'm also available to Zoom, and I'm also available on WhatsApp. And we're looking forward to it. One final thing. I have 2 young men who are now partners in my company, Trading Consultants, Inc. And Aaron, A-R-U-N, and Xavier are members and owners of Doji Office, a digital marketing and SEO, SEM company. And they live in Puducherry, India. And I didn't know anything about India except Taj Mahal. All of a sudden, I've got 2 young men that are brilliant, capable, and committed to the American way of life. And it just so happens that Puducherry is the France of India. It was founded by the Dutch. The city was laid out by the Dutch. The later French embellished on it. And today, you live in some of the most beautiful part of the world called Puducherry. Xavier and Aaron are now 10% owners of our company. And I'm proud to call them my kids. Because I treat them like my grandpa. I'm the grandpa now. And this was a 20-minute video, and I'm excited to know about the possibilities of what we're going to do. Again, I've taken the name of Paladin. Go to YouTube and look at a Have Gun Will Travel Western, and that's me. And so it will be Stephen Gibson. That's my legal name. I'm in the process of changing it, but that takes a lot of work, and I'll have it done by the end of 2021. Well, give me 3 years to run, and we'll have a huge amount of money and capital behind us, and we won't take a dime of public funds. So thank you so much, and appreciate you taking the time. This is about a 20-minute. It's a long video, but I think you need to know what we're doing. Have a great day.